this is Chen with Friday's Fresh Market again, and today we are planting live herb pots. So I just want to show you real quick as how we plant live herb pots here in house. So on this table we already have the things set up here, and we have Riley here working to help planting our pots. So basically, before we plant any pots, we already have the seedling going. We have 2 trays of the seedling right now. This one is entirely herbs. For the most part, this tray has thyme and oregano. And this section we have been working on, those are sage that we already start planting into the pots here. On this tray, we have a little bit of more matured crops here. We have some basil and catnips. So those were going to the pot today as well. Before we start planting, we prepare our pots. So we used 3 to 4 inch of the small plastic black pots. At the bottom, we put some cocoa croutons at the bottom because the pot has drainage holes at the bottom. In order not to have the loose peat moss falling through the holes, we fill those holes at the bottom with a layer of the cocoa crouton. We like to soak our cocoa croutons in the water first to get them wet. So when we actually put those pots at the end in the flood tray and the flood tables, it wicks up the water a lot better than you starting them off with the dry ones. So after we put a layer of the cocoa croutons in the pots, can you show us how the cocoa croutons in the pots look like? Yep, we just put a thin layer of the cocoa croutons in the pot, and then we will fill the rest of the pots with Canadian sphagnum peat. So we use this bag of the peat moss. It's basically, we sell this bag of the peat moss here at the garden center as well. So we use this for ourselves. It's 100% organic and has the Armory certified little sticker over here. It's made in Canada. It's called Canadian sphagnum peat moss. So it's a really good, clean and sanitized grow media. We fill the pots with the peat moss to the line, and then looks like that. And then we will wet the peat moss as well. Again, same reason is for a better water wicking system from the bottom. Because when we put them in the flood trays, that we're not gonna water them from the top. So when we plant the grow media, we want to make sure everything is nice and wet. So when we do flood the table, the water comes from the bottom through the hose, then they will be wicked up a lot easier. So after we wet them, we can start putting the seedling plugs into those pots. And we do 3 to 4 seedlings or plugs, depends on the size and depends on the crops. So you can use your finger, but we use just a bamboo stick or whatever that to the size will be suitable for poking holes. We poke holes in those grow media, and then we will put the plugs in the holes we poked. So when we put the plugs in, we want to make sure the plugs are deep enough into the pot so they will have a much better chance, or we want to make sure they have the contact with the water wicking from the bottom. So those are the ones we already did over here. Those are the sage we potted. And we are working on thyme and oregano right now with those pots. Okay, so we already have few pots planted, and right now we are putting barcodes on them. So each live pot will have a barcode. So when you shop at Fridays, you will be able to pick any pots that you like and take it directly to the register. So each pots are identified with the variety name. So if you look at it closely, you will see that this one is a oregano, and it has the barcode with it. So next we will be taking some of the planted trays in the pots to our flood table and let them get watered. So we're taking the pots to the flood table and set them right in the flood table with the rest of the herbs here. So this flood table actually hosts all the pots of the herbs at different stages. You can see on the left, we have some really full-grown herbs here that are ready to be purchased and are ready to go home with you. And we set those baby ones we just newly planted over here on the right side, and for them to get lights and get watered. So once they're in this flood table, and every day that the water will flood this table, and it floods twice a day. So right now everything drains down, but twice a day this flood table will get up to, the water level will get up to this tall, this high. So it will water all the fresh herb pots we just planted today, and the top lights over here will give them the very much needed lighting, just mimicking the sunlight for the herbs to grow bigger and be really healthy. So this is just a quick video to show you how we plant our own live herb pots, and as you can see, everything started from seeds and everything started and finished in-house here at Fridays. So why don't you come out and check out those live herbs, and maybe pick a couple of pots and go home with you, set it on the kitchen countertop for you to trim on and add freshness and a flavor aroma to your culinary dishes.